Hey guys, here is lesson 8.3 for those of you that want to use the video to take notes, or you just like to hear my lovely voice. This is all about learning to use slopes and intercepts to graph linear equations. We're still talking linear equations, so much fun. Let's give it a try using slopes and intercepts to graph linear equations. A couple key terms we've talked about on x and y intercept, slope-intercept form. So the x and y intercept, these are the big things here. The x-intercept is just where the line crosses the x. That's where the line crosses the x-axis. So y would be 0. And the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, where x is 0. So we're going to find those things. And we're going to use this form called standard form, a different form. We've done slope-intercept form. Now we're going to do standard form. So standard form looks like ax plus by equals c. Notice there's no slope in here. There's no m, and there's no intercept. So let me show you how we can find some of those things right now. Here's a standard form equation. This is standard. It's the ax plus by equals c. And we want to find the x and y intercepts. We want to find where on our graph our line crosses the x-axis and where it crosses the y-axis. Okay, that's what we're looking for. So to find the x-intercept, it's really easy. You just plug in a 0 for y. Right there. So 6 times 0 is 0, so that leaves me with negative 3x equals 12. Well, I divide negative 3 on both sides. Those cancel. I'm left with x equals negative 4. So my x-intercept is negative 4. So if I looked at this, that should be negative 4, 0 is my point. Now my y-intercept, I do the same thing, but I plug in 0 for x this time. So negative 3 times 0 is 0. And I'm left with 6y equals 12. Well, what times 6 equals 12? Y equals 2, or I divide both sides by 6. So my y-intercept is 2. So here, this y value should be 0 for x and 2 for y. 0, 2. That's my x and y intercept using standard form. Pretty cool. And then I can graph it. That's kind of the whole point of this, is to be able to graph the line. So I go to negative 4, I go to 2, and I do my best to graph that line. And sorry, it's hard to draw a line with this pen, but you kind of get the point. And then I could actually find the slope if I wanted to. I go up 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4. So my slope would be 2 over 4, or 1/2. That's my m equals 1/2. So that's pretty nifty as well. You can find the slope from your graph, like we did in the first lesson. Alright? So that's finding x and y intercepts and slope using standard form. Now, we're going to turn standard form into this slope-intercept form, because it makes it a little bit easier to find slope when it's in this form. Alright? So let's give it a try. Y equals mx plus b form. We're going to go from standard, here's standard, to slope-intercept. So I want something that looks like this. So I have to figure out what m and what b are. So to do that, I need to get my x over to this side. So I'm going to subtract 4x to both sides. And I have 3y equals negative 4x plus 9. I'm just going to switch the order there. And now I want to get rid of my 3, so y is all by itself. To do that, we know I can divide by 3. The key here is to divide this whole side by 3, not just one value, all values on the side. So I have y equals negative 4/3 x plus 9 over 3. I just split those up. So I could simplify. So y equals negative 4/3, that's my m, that's my slope, x, plus 9 divided by 3 is 3. So my m equals negative 4/3, and my b, my y-intercept, equals 3. So that's going from standard form all the way down to slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form right there. Kind of fun to change from one type of equation to the next. And I got one more thing to show you. So now we have points. We don't have an equation, and we want to get slope-intercept form from these points. Well, first thing we want to do is find our slope. If you remember, we can find the slope by doing change in y over change in x. So, if this is my y2, 4, this is my y1, minus negative 4, over x2, negative 1, minus x1, minus 3, equals 4 minus negative 4 is like plus a positive, that's 8. Negative 1 plus a negative 3 is negative 4. That simplifies to negative 2. So this is, remember, my slope. M equals negative 2. So now I have y equals negative 2x plus b. I want to figure out what this b is. My y-intercept. To do that, all I need to do is plug in a point into this equation. Alright, so I'm going to plug in a point right here, and I'm going to choose this point here, my first one. So my y value is negative 4, so I put that where y is, equals, I keep my slope, my x value is 3, so negative 2 times 3, I still don't know what b is. So I'm left with negative 4 equals negative 2 times 3, negative 6 plus b. I want to get b all by itself, so I add 6, my b equals 2. So now I have negative 2 equals m, b equals 2, and I can write a wonderful slope-intercept equation. Y equals negative 2 slope times x plus y-intercept, or b. There's an equation going from 2 points all the way to slope-intercept form by doing a little math magic. So much fun. So hopefully with that you now can do, you can find x, y-intercepts. You can go from standard form to slope-intercept form. You can graph equations, and you can love math. Alright guys, we will work with this again. You'll do it with your choice book board, but I'll be there to help you next class. Hope you had fun. Talk to you soon. Ciao, ching, chung. Bye-bye.